Did you know that pain meds are among the highest selling medications in the UK? Well, in case you didn't know that, now you know. One of the leading causes of pain is called inflammation. So, today we're going to talk about inflammation, and we're going to talk about things that you can do or things that you can eat to reduce it and things that you can avoid. But please don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, before I start, please touch the like and subscribe button and share this video to whoever may need it. I post videos regularly regarding nutrition and your health and how you can get your body to a better functioning state. So stay tuned. So now let's talk about inflammation. Inflammation is not a bad thing. Man, in fact, you need inflammation in your body. So what happens is, let's say for example, you get a bee sting or you cut yourself. In a short while, you get blood rushing to the area with white blood cells. And this happens with the aim of healing and killing bacteria or anything that may have gone in that area. It's your body's natural response to protect itself from invaders and other things. Now there are different kinds of inflammation. There's acute inflammation, which is like what I've just explained. It happens and then it's done. And then there is chronic inflammation, which happens, I would say, happens constantly over time. Well, what we need to worry about is chronic inflammation, because that's what causes us the pain and discomfort all the time. That's the kind of inflammation that we need to worry about, the chronic inflammation. You see, there are different causes of chronic inflammation. Sometimes it's what we eat, is our lifestyle, the way we live our life. Certain foods activate chronic inflammation in the body. However, there are certain things we can do to reduce or get rid of this kind of inflammation. If you already have chronic inflammation, you know what I'm talking about. That kind of constant pain is very discomforting. That knee pain, that joint pain, all this kind of pain is very discomforting and it's difficult to live with. So today we're going to talk about certain foods we can eat to lower or actually get rid of chronic inflammation if you're really serious about getting rid of it, and things that we should avoid doing totally to prevent chronic inflammation from happening. So first, let's talk about the things that would most likely cause you chronic inflammation, right? So first, you must avoid eating foods with high level of omega-6s. Omega-6 is essential fatty acids, just like omega-3, but omega-6 is pro-inflammatory, which means it has the capability of causing or inducing inflammation in your body. So you want, whereas omega-3 is anti-inflammatory, it goes against inflammation in the body. But you need both because they're both needed. Like I said, we need inflammation, so you need the omega-6s as well. However, you do need more omega-3s compared to omega-6. Now, in the world we live today, a lot of our foods in the shops, everywhere you go, has some kinds of omega-6 in it. Just so you know, omega-6 is our typical oil, vegetable oil, corn oil, soy oil, which are the cheap oils in the supermarket. So you can see how this is everywhere in your house just easily, because most people buy the cheap things in the shop. So we eat a lot of omega-6s every day. Our consumption of omega-6 is way higher compared to omega-3, which is why we have a big problem of inflammation. So the first thing you need to do is to reduce the amount of omega-6 you're consuming. Why not eat less oil at all? So however, we need to get rid of omega-6s. Another thing is we need to get rid of processed meats and processed meats and sugars. There's so much processed meats and eating sugars in the packaged foods we eat. It's all loaded with different kinds of um, ingredients that you don't even understand. When you read them, you're wondering, what is this? But these are all things that are processed sugars, or that are meant to keep the food stay in the shelf for long and make it taste better than it is. All these things are not good for us. They cause us some type of inflammation in the body. They promote inflammation. Another thing, we need to minimize environmental toxins. Environmental toxins include pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. I know you're thinking, well, where would I get all those from? Well, you get all those from the vegetables you buy. We Most health advocates like myself say you have to eat a lot of vegetables. Yes, you have to eat a lot of vegetables, but I will tell you, you have to eat a lot of vegetables and make it organic. Exactly the reason why, because when your vegetables are not organic, it means they've been sprayed with a lot of things, with all these kind of chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, and all these kind of things. So you want to minimize the consumption of those environmental toxins, to reduce inflammation. Avoid eating gluten and MSG. Well, gluten is a common problem. Most people are intolerant to gluten. If they consume foods with gluten or certain foods with gluten, they get a reaction. Even me myself, if I eat pasta, I get a reaction. So I don't eat pasta. You just need to avoid it. If you eat something that causes you bloating or gas or discomfort, just don't eat it, because it's definitely causing a problem in your gut that will cause you a bigger problem down the line. You keep eating it, it's gonna get worse over time. So avoid eating food with gluten. As for MSG, MSG is something, it's a food ingredient. It's something that they put in food. If you read your food ingredient label when you buy it, say for example, let's say, I think biscuits or any food ingredient label, right? Most of them, some of them have MSG. Just read the label, you see MSG, monosodium glutamate. It's something that they put in food to make the food have long shelf life, and it also make the food taste better than it's supposed to taste. So it's in most food label. If you read it, it's either there as MSG or monosodium glutamate. Not good. This thing can cause you inflammation without even realizing. So these are the things you need to watch out for. Another thing is milk. Milk, and the casein in milk has a substance in it called casein. Casein in milk can cause you a lot of discomfort. Not everybody. Some people might not feel it straight away, like other people. Other people feel it straight away, but some people might not feel it straight away. But in a way, it can cause you discomfort. So if you drink milk, or you notice that anytime you drink milk, you feel something different, or you get a reaction, an obvious reaction would be bloating or gas, or some kind of discomfort in your gut. But if you notice that every time you drink milk you get other reaction, maybe you feel foggy or sleepy, or you don't feel right within yourself, you probably should not drink milk. Maybe change to plant milk, or maybe change the kind of milk you're drinking. It most likely means you're having a reaction to the milk, and you need to change it. Another thing that can cause inflammation is alcohol. I don't even need to explain much of that. Alcohol causes you a lot of other bad problems. Another thing is smoking. Smoking and drinking alcohol cause you inflammation. I don't even need to go into that, because it's pretty much clear. So those are the things that you should probably avoid. Now let's talk about the things that you should do to reduce your inflammation if you already have it. So like I said before, you need to eat foods high in omega-3s. That's like your sardines, your salmon, your tuna, and make sure you get them wild caught, because these ones have better nutrient quality than the ones which are farm raised. So you want wild caught sardines or salmons or tuna. You want to eat foods high in omega-3s. You want to eat a lot of vegetables. vegetables and fruits, and like I said, make them organic. What that will do, eating a lot of vegetables will help to calm down inflammation a lot, because vegetables have a lot of nutrients, antioxidants, and all these things work against inflammation. So you want to have a lot of vegetables. You also need to eat spices like ginger and turmeric. These two are very anti-inflammatory. They have anti-inflammatory substances in them, and so you need to eat them to help you with inflammation. Another important nutrient is vitamin D and zinc. Now, these two nutrients are very powerful, especially when it comes to the area of inflammation. Vitamin D is very important to calm down inflammation, and so is zinc. So I know there's not a lot of places to get your vitamin D from food. It's most likely from the sun, but you can get a bit of vitamin D from good quality eggs, like pasture-raised organic eggs. You can get it from some from sardines, or some from grass-fed butter, or you can buy a vitamin D supplement. Just make sure the vitamin D supplement you're buying is food-based, is GMO free, corn free, and soy free. As for zinc, you can get zinc from seafood like oysters and shellfish. You can even get some zinc from cocoa powder. You can get some zinc from vegetables. So there's lots of areas where you can get enough zinc from. I put a list of foods down before that you can most likely get zinc from, and some where you can get some vitamin D from. Another thing that is very important to drop your inflammation is stress, because stress is one thing that can cause us chronic inflammation over time. So if you are able to lower your stress in whatever way, it will help you with your chronic inflammation. Also, make sure you get enough sleep. Enough sleep is important. I'm not talking about sleeping 10 hours a day. I'm talking about good deep sleep, good quality sleep, that when you sleep and you wake up and feel energized and awake. Doesn't matter, it could be 6, could be 7 hours, it just doesn't matter. But you don't have to force yourself to sleep very long. You just need good quality sleep. You need exercise. Exercise is very important to combat inflammation. So you don't have to be high intensity exercise, because if you have joint pain, or knee pain, or wherever your pain is, you may not be able to do vigorous exercise. So you just take a long walk, take a long walk outside, 45 minutes, or if you can, gentle jogging. That all helps to bring down your inflammation. Fasting is very important to lower inflammation. Intermittent fasting, at least 16 hours a day. I mean, if you can't do 16 hours for a start, maybe you're someone that's not used to fasting, you want to start from somewhere. So you start from wherever you can. But the ultimate aim is to get to 16 hours a day of fasting. So at least the minimum is 16 hours a day of fasting. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's easy for me to tell you to do all of this, but it can be hard when you come to the real world, because all of this looks like a life change if you're being used to certain things. So the problem with inflammation is that, do you really want to live with this kind of pain for the rest of your life, when there are options for you to change it? If you don't want to live with this kind of pain, then you're going to need to make a lifestyle change, and your priorities are going to be changed. So if you do these things that I've just said are anti-inflammatory, it will help you to lower your inflammation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.